Okay, so welcome to a new video, and today what's happening is I got a new sketchbook. I always do this. I get new sketchbooks before I can fill up the previous one, and then I get super excited and I start at a brilliant pace to start working in the new one, but I haven't even finished the previous one. But anyway, point is I got a new sketchbook, and something I've really been wanting to do is to do the 100 heads challenge, but with animals. Since I'm not really good at drawing people, I do intend on watching a bunch of tutorials and taking like online classes to learn how to illustrate people and like human heads and stuff. Um, but I can do animals, so I thought, you know what? I am going to do the 100 heads challenge, but I'm going to do it with animals. So this is the first little sit down session I have of doing this. And my whole goal for doing this challenge is I want to speed up the amount of time it takes me to do a head. A lot of the time when I feel like painting, the first half of the session is just sitting down and sketching out the animal itself or the head itself. Sometimes I don't even paint a complete animal. Sometimes I just do heads. Um, and I tend to overthink and I tend to take too long when I want to sit down and paint, an animal. So the whole point of this is to see how many heads I can get down in one session. And usually it takes me like 1 hour to do one head, but I want to get that time down to maybe 10, 15 minutes. So yeah, this is session one. Here we go. So to start off with, this is my little dog. She's Jack Russell, and I actually paint her quite often. So I thought, you know what, might as well sort of stick to my guns with this one. Start off on a high note since I know what her face looks like. And I think overall it came out kind of okay. My phone is positioned at an angle, so the proportions on the drawing might not look the same as the phone, but it's mostly because my phone's at an angle. So yeah, the point is not to get too accurate, but to just get it down quickly. Then I found this little rabbit. Again, the point was just to do heads, but it looked a bit weird just with the head, so I decided, okay, let's just quickly sketch out the rest of the body. It also gives me some practice on, sketching out bodies and legs and proportions and all of that. Actually quite happy with it. I think it's cute. Very happy with how this one turned out. Um, then I found this little fox as I'm scrolling through Pinterest. I found this fox that's sort of up close. So I wanted to see if I can sort of do foreshortening and stuff like that. So I just marked out where everything would be, hypothetically, and I worked from there as a base. And yeah, sorry for having to tap the screen the whole time. The screen does, black out after a few minutes. So I just have to keep tapping on it to keep it live and, awake. There is a setting you can use to, as long as you're looking at the screen recognizes you look at it and then it will stay activated. But that takes up so much battery life, so I did not enable that. But anyway, so here's the little fox. It was definitely like a challenge to try to sketch out this fox where its head's quite close to the camera, so I to create that illusion that sort of zoomed in and staring at you. I got the eyes wrong, so you will see me lower it down a bit in a few seconds. But yeah, this one took the longest out of most of them, and that's just because it's not a direct, straight angle. It's, got a bit of depth to it, but a little bit more 3D. So it took the longest out of all of the ones I'm doing now, but I think it was worth it in the end. I think if I had to paint this, I could probably add more depth to it because my strength is not in sketching, which is another reason why I want to do the challenge. My strength is not in sketching, it's more so painting. I can create a lot of depth and shadow with paint by adding, values in all the right places and stuff like that. But just sketching is not my forte. Like, I don't sketch for the final product to be a sketch. I sketch mostly as an outline for where the paint is supposed to go. So that's another one of the reasons why I'm doing this challenge. I also suck at shading when it comes to just sketching, so perfect opportunity to try and improve on that in this challenge. Don't you just love the eraser? That's my favorite eraser. Um, yeah, okay, so first page done. Then I decided, okay, that's like way too many or like not enough per page, so I'm gonna try to squeeze in at least 5 on this page. Um, Starting off with this little gecko. And again, it looked weird just with the head, so I did the whole body, which took obviously a bit longer, so that kind of defeats the purpose, but it's always good practice to try and get something like that right. Looking back on it now, looking back at the footage, I think those front legs came down a bit too straight. I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se, but the lizard was leaning a bit forward in the reference picture. Here we've got a shoebill stork, which is one of my favorite birds. You have no idea. Like, I discovered this bird during COVID season in 2020, and since then I've been obsessed with this bird and like learning everything that I can about it. And although they look super like evil and metal as a bird, they're actually quite sweet and respectful, and they like when you bow to them and then they'll bow back. It's a sign of, you know, how they greet each other, so it's kind of cool. Then we have this little frog. I was resisting the temptation to draw the whole frog again because it takes up more time than I actually want to spend per sketch. Um, so I only really just did his head and his little forearms, or I don't know, are those legs? I suppose. His front legs, forearms, I don't know. So I just did the stick and his little forearms. So you can sort of get a grasp of, okay, this is sort of the shape. This one turned out a bit more cartoony than I intended to, but that's fine. I still like how everything turned out. I think the proportions are right. Um, yeah, his little hands came out great, so I'm happy with that. Then there was this little dog. This one is probably my second favorite out of the 6 drawings that I did in this video. 6, 7, 8. No, I did 8. Sorry, out of the 8 drawings in this video, this one is my second favorite, and then my favorite would be number 5, the shoebill stork. But yeah, and then there's this little dog, same dog, just different angle. I don't think that translates well. I don't think you can like definitely tell it's the same dog, but I think proportion wise it came out okay. It's a little wonky, but it was the last one I did at night. So as you can see from the phone screen, that was like at midnight. So yeah. Okay. And that was the first little sit down session, and this is like a short little 8 to 9 minute video just to, you know, get things going. And yeah, I'm gonna try to film as many of these sessions as possible, so I look forward to doing that. And yeah, I'll see you in a next video. Okay, bye.